Ladies and gentlemen, today I speak to the part of you that has always known the truth, but has too often been drowned out by distraction, doubt, and fear. I speak to the inner architect of your destiny, the mind that holds the power to create, shape, and command reality itself. For far too long, humanity has been enslaved by circumstances, manipulated by emotion, and blinded by the illusion that others hold the keys to their fate. I tell you this, the universe responds not to those who plead, but to those who command. And you, if you choose to awaken, are among the few capable of wielding this extraordinary power. Consider this principle. Everything you experience in life begins first as thought. Every achievement, every failure, every circumstance, and every triumph originates in the silent laboratory of the mind. To attract what you desire, wealth, influence, love, recognition, fulfillment, you must first master the art of deliberate thinking. You must cultivate a mind disciplined, neutral, and resilient. Emotional detachment is the gateway to this mastery, for the human mind that reacts rather than responds is a mind enslaved. It is a leaf tossed by the winds of impulse, fear, and indecision. Let me be explicit. Emotional detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean coldness or passivity. It means command. It means the ability to observe, to assess, and to act with unwavering clarity, regardless of circumstance. The man who allows anger, envy, or anxiety to dictate his decisions is powerless. The man who commands his inner world, however, moves the external world to his advantage with a force that cannot be resisted. This is the first law of attraction in its truest form. He who masters himself commands all else. Now, consider the principle of definiteness of purpose, the cornerstone upon which all great achievement rests. A ship without a rudder is at the mercy of the waves. A man without a definite purpose is at the mercy of life's chaos. Decide with unflinching clarity what it is that you intend to attract. Do not hedge your desire with doubt. Do not allow hesitation or fear to temper your ambition. Your purpose must be vivid, compelling, and unyielding. Write it, speak it, visualize it daily. Let it saturate your consciousness until it becomes as real to you as the air you breathe. When your mind is aligned with a purpose this definite, the universe is forced to respond. Obstacles bend, circumstances align, and opportunities materialize as if the world itself conspires to fulfill your intention. But purpose alone is insufficient. The human mind is fickle. It is tempted, distracted, and undermined by fleeting emotions and the opinions of others. To maintain alignment with your purpose, you must cultivate mental discipline. This is the art of commanding attention, focus, and thought. It is the refusal to allow trivialities, fears, or social pressure to derail your path. Daily, exercise your mind as an athlete exercises the body. Train it to observe, to decide, and to act without hesitation. Begin with small victories. Resist distraction, resist impulsive reactions, resist the temptation to complain or blame. Each victory strengthens the neural pathways of discipline, and every day you reinforce the habit, you grow more invincible. Let me introduce a concept few grasp fully. Autosuggestion, the deliberate practice of communicating with the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not question logic or reason. It accepts what it is told repeatedly, and it manifests it in action, circumstance, and reality. Therefore, speak to yourself with precision. Declare your goals as though they already exist. Visualize them as though they are tangible. Repeat them daily with conviction. In this practice, your subconscious becomes an ally, a co-creator of your reality. It will detect opportunities, craft solutions, and attract circumstances in alignment with your repeated declarations. This is the silent engine of attraction, invisible to the untrained eye, but unstoppable to those who understand its mechanism. And now, let us confront the enemy of attraction, emotional reactivity. Observe it carefully. A mind that reacts is a mind enslaved. Anger, fear, jealousy, and resentment are the chains that bind ordinary men to ordinary outcomes. The moment you react is the moment you forfeit control. The moment you respond deliberately with detachment is the moment you reclaim power. Emotional detachment is not an abstraction, it is a measurable skill. You will practice it every day. When provoked, breathe. When insulted, observe. When frightened, analyze. Respond with intention, not instinct. In this way, the outer world no longer dictates your inner state. You are sovereign. Now consider the law of mental neutrality, a principle as precise as it is transformative. The law states that the mind must remain neutral to external opinions, events, and provocations until it has processed them deliberately. Like a lens adjusting to light, the mind must filter input carefully, directing only the necessary energy toward constructive thought. Every distraction, every emotional disturbance, every opinion that is not rooted in fact or purpose must be neutralized before it contaminates your focus. Through this law, the individual becomes impervious to chaos. Opportunity becomes visible. Danger is assessed accurately, and influence flows naturally from calm authority. With this mastery, your inner world becomes a magnet for success. Wealth, recognition, influence, and opportunity are drawn not by wishful thinking, but by the consistency of purpose, clarity of thought, and precision of action. The man who commands his mind is irresistible to circumstances. His ideas are implemented. His initiatives gain traction. His presence exudes calm confidence. He does not chase what he desires, the world delivers it, compelled by the coherence of his inner state. At this juncture, I must emphasize the importance of practical routines. Thought mastery is not a single act, it is a life lived deliberately. Begin each day with focus. Review your purpose, visualize your achievements, and declare your intention. Meditate on challenges and rehearse responses in advance. When setbacks occur, observe them, extract lessons, and proceed. Avoid distraction as though it were a contagion. Guard your attention with ferocity. Your mind is the only tool capable of shaping your destiny, and it deserves absolute care and cultivation. We now approach a principle that is often misunderstood, the power of calmness. Calmness is not passivity, it is control. It is the still center from which all decisive action originates. Observe the lives of the most successful individuals throughout history. You will find one common trait. They maintained composure in the face of chaos. They did not allow fear or panic to cloud judgment. They assessed, planned, and acted deliberately. When crises arrived, they were already 2 steps ahead because their inner state was unshakable. Calmness is not learned overnight. It is cultivated through persistent practice of detachment, discipline, and conscious response. And finally, understand this truth. The outer world is a mirror of the inner world. If you desire abundance, clarity, influence, and achievement, cultivate these within first. Purge fear, doubt, and reaction. Strengthen discipline, clarity, and patience. Speak to yourself as a creator, visualize as a sovereign, act as a master. When the inner world aligns, the outer world obeys. Now, let us explore the practical mechanics of mental mastery. Discipline is not a concept to be admired from afar. It is a practice, a daily ritual, a forge in which character and power are tempered. Each morning, before the demands of the day encroach upon your consciousness, you must center yourself. Begin by reviewing your definiteness of purpose, your unwavering aim. Speak it aloud, commit it to memory, visualize it in vivid, undeniable detail. See the steps, see the obstacles, see yourself overcoming each with precision and calm authority. Let your mind live in the reality you intend to create. This is not fantasy, it is preparation. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish preparation from experience. Feed it clarity, and it will deliver action. Feed it fear, and it will produce hesitation. Consider this principle. Every thought has a vibration. Every thought, positive or negative, constructive or destructive, shapes the environment around you. When you dwell on fear, doubt, or resentment, you do not merely poison your own mind, you distort the reality you encounter. When you dwell on clarity, determination, and opportunity, you begin to draw into your life circumstances that mirror those qualities. This is not a theory, it is law. The man who controls his thoughts becomes the master of events, circumstances, and even people. Let us now address emotional detachment in action. Life will test you. Opportunities will be disguised as challenges, triumphs as traps, failure as inevitability. Those who react emotionally are thrown off course. Those who respond with measured detachment turn every situation into an advantage. Picture a chess master. He does not panic when an unexpected move is made. He observes, evaluates, and responds with deliberate strategy. So too must you approach life. Let no insult, no rejection, no apparent setback disturb your inner equilibrium. Remain calm. Assess the situation. Choose the path that aligns with your purpose. Next, we delve into the art of autosuggestion and subconscious alignment. Your subconscious mind is a fertile field, and every repeated thought is a seed. Speak to it with precision, repetition, and confidence. Let it know your purpose, your goals, your vision. Repeat affirmations that reflect action, resilience, and determination, but more than words, cultivate emotion. The subconscious responds to feeling as much as thought. When you declare your intention, do so with the certainty of a man who has already achieved it. In time, your subconscious will guide your conscious decisions, alerting you to opportunities, steering you away from pitfalls, and aligning the external world with the blueprint of your vision. Now, consider response versus reaction, a distinction that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Reaction is automatic, instinctive, and often destructive. Response is deliberate, calculated, and aligned with long-term advantage. In every moment, you have the choice to allow emotion to dictate action or to command your mind and act with intention. I challenge you to make the latter your default. Observe yourself throughout the day. Notice every impulse, every irritation, every fear. Before acting, pause, breathe, analyze. Choose the action that serves your purpose, not the action that satisfies your emotion. In this practice, you reclaim power, and with it, the ability to shape reality itself. Let us now confront fear and failure, the twin tyrants of human achievement. Fear is the mind's illusion, a projection of imagined danger. Failure is merely experience reframed incorrectly. The man who commands his mind sees fear not as a barrier, but as information. He sees failure not as defeat, but as feedback. Each fear faced, each failure endured, strengthens the neural pathways of courage and resilience. He does not avoid challenges. He anticipates them, plans for them, and emerges stronger. This is the essence of mental discipline, the transformation of obstacles into leverage, of threats into opportunity. And here lies another truth, the power of focus. Your mind is capable of astonishing achievement, but only when it is concentrated. The scattered mind achieves nothing. The focused mind conquers worlds. Determine your objective. Eliminate distraction. Allocate time, energy, and attention to the singular pursuit that aligns with your purpose. Resist the temptation to dabble, to compare, to postpone. You will find that the world begins to bend toward those who focus relentlessly. Wealth, influence, and recognition follow not the indecisive, but the determined. I must now speak of calm authority. Calm authority is the aura of someone who has mastered the self. It is the stillness that precedes action, the confidence that commands attention, the presence that attracts allies and repels opposition. Cultivate it by practice. Maintain composure in disagreement, serenity in crisis, and patience in uncertainty. Let your calmness be contagious. Others will unconsciously defer to your insight, follow your direction, and trust your judgment. Authority is never demanded, it is earned through internal mastery. Next, we consider accurate thinking, a principle of immense practical power. The mind can be deceived by emotion, habit, or convention. Accurate thinking requires evidence, analysis, and detachment. Before making decisions, examine the facts, separate truth from opinion, consider consequences, and act in alignment with purpose. Do not allow rumor, hearsay, or social pressure to govern your actions. By committing to accurate thinking, you make decisions that generate consistent results, turning chance into certainty and chaos into opportunity. We arrive now at the synergy of mind, emotion, and purpose. The man who aligns these forces creates a momentum that is unstoppable. Emotion without discipline is disaster. Discipline without emotion is rigidity. Purpose without focus is aimlessness. But when mind, emotion, and purpose are harmonized, they form a centrifugal force that draws success, influence, and achievement into orbit. You become a magnet for opportunity, a catalyst for action, and a master of circumstance. Now, let us speak of personal initiative, the quiet but undeniable force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Initiative is the willingness to act without being prompted, the courage to make the first move when circumstances demand it, the refusal to wait for permission from the world. Every day, life will present you with challenges and opportunities often intertwined. The man without initiative hesitates, debates, doubts, and often loses what he could have gained. The man with initiative sees the opportunity, takes action, and bends reality to his will. Understand this. Initiative is not reckless action. It is deliberate courage guided by purpose, fortified by mental discipline, and executed with emotional detachment. Consider the principle of mental neutrality, which is the bedrock of inner control. Mental neutrality is the ability to observe events, opinions, and circumstances without immediate judgment, to allow them to pass through the mind without disturbing the inner balance. It is the practice of detachment without apathy, of engagement without surrendering the self to reaction. Think of a calm lake. It reflects the sky, the sun, the trees, but it does not ripple or rage unless agitated from within. When you cultivate mental neutrality, you become like that lake. You see clearly, you judge accurately, and you act decisively, unhindered by the storm of external influence. Now, focus on the mastery of desire. For desire is the spark that fuels action but can also consume the unprepared. The individual without control is tossed about by desires for approval, for comfort, for recognition. These are not inherently evil, but they are dangerous when they dictate behavior rather than guide it. True mastery of desire means acknowledging your wants without surrendering your mind to them. It is aligning desire with purpose, so that every longing, every ambition, every yearning becomes a tool for action rather than a chain of distraction. Let us examine the principle of delayed gratification, which is inseparable from mental discipline. The man who seeks immediate pleasure sacrifices long-term power. The man who waits, who works quietly and persistently, who invests effort into the unseen, achieves results that overwhelm the impatient. Every moment you resist the impulse to react emotionally, to chase temporary reward, you strengthen the mental muscles that lead to lasting triumph. Like the sculptor who chips away patiently to reveal the form within stone, your discipline reveals the life you desire, one deliberate act at a time. Consider now the power of silence, a tool underappreciated by the untrained mind. Silence is not absence, it is presence. In silence, the mind clarifies. In silence, thought aligns with purpose. In silence, the inner world speaks its truth, and you hear it without distortion. Speak when your words create value, not when they satisfy habit. Listen when your mind can absorb insight, not when it is seeking to be heard. The disciplined mastery of silence is a superpower. It transforms your interactions, sharpens your judgment, and amplifies the authority you carry. Now reflect upon the distinction between external circumstance and internal sovereignty. Life will not always bend to your will, and men will not always act as you hope. The difference between success and failure is rarely the world, it is the mind. The man who believes his happiness, his progress, and his influence lie in external events relinquishes control. The man who understands that all power resides within thought, attitude, and discipline becomes unstoppable. Recognize this: you are the commander of your inner kingdom. Let no external force usurp your sovereignty. Turn your attention to the cultivation of resilience, the invisible armor of the disciplined mind. Setbacks, betrayals, errors, and disappointments will arrive unannounced. Those who are resilient are not those who avoid pain, they are those who absorb it, analyze it, and convert it into strength. Resilience is built through repetition, reflection, and unwavering commitment to purpose. Each trial faced with calm, each failure reframed as instruction, each discomfort endured without complaint adds layer upon layer to the foundation of unassailable mental fortitude. We now arrive at the synthesis of thought and action, the true mark of mastery. Thought without action is impotent. Action without thought is chaotic. Align your cognition with deliberate steps, guided by clarity of purpose, reinforced by emotional detachment, and executed with precise discipline. This alignment produces results that seem miraculous to the untrained observer, but are the inevitable outcome of mastery. Understand this: the man who commands his mind, emotions, and actions creates a trajectory in life that is unstoppable. He does not wait for opportunity, he creates it. He does not hope for success, he engineers it. Finally, let us embrace the law of attraction in disciplined form. Attraction is not a mystical force, but the natural consequence of coherent thought, disciplined behavior, and unwavering purpose. The individual whose mind is calm, whose thoughts are clear, and whose actions are purposeful radiates a frequency that draws opportunities, allies, and circumstances into alignment with intent. The chaotic mind repels, the disciplined mind attracts, the untrained heart stumbles, the controlled heart magnetizes. Success is not given, it is drawn by the force of concentrated mastery over oneself. Now, let us examine the art of emotional detachment, for it is here, in the mastery over feeling, that true power is forged. Emotional detachment is not indifference. It is not coldness or a lack of care. It is the profound understanding that your emotional state must not be a hostage to circumstance, opinion, or misfortune. Consider the man who allows anger to guide his decisions, or the individual who permits fear to paralyze action. He is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by the waves of life, directionless and vulnerable. By mastering detachment, you anchor yourself in reason, in clarity, in the unwavering conviction that no external turbulence can dictate the integrity of your mind. This mastery begins with awareness. Observe your thoughts, catalog your reactions, and note where impulse overrides reason. The moment you recognize a reaction before it dictates behavior, you reclaim control. Consider every challenge, every slight, every provocation as a mirror, reflecting the opportunity to strengthen self-command. You are not bound by circumstance. You are not obligated to surrender your calm. You are sovereign within your mind. This is the first and most fundamental principle. Nothing outside can disturb you unless you permit it. Next, understand the law of response versus reaction. Reaction is instinctive, often emotional, and unfiltered. Response is conscious, deliberate, and guided by purpose. The difference is subtle but monumental. In every interaction, every conflict, every choice, ask yourself, will I react or will I respond? The reactive man is pulled by impulse, by desire, by anger, by fear. He is a leaf in the wind. The responsive man is grounded in principle, unwavering in composure, and strategic in action. He shapes circumstances instead of being shaped by them. He chooses, he directs, he conquers. This is the essence of self-mastery. Now, let us speak of the cultivation of mental discipline, the daily exercise that transforms chaos into clarity. Mental discipline is more than focus, it is the training of thought itself. Just as the body grows strong through resistance, the mind grows powerful through intentional control. Begin each day by asserting purpose over thought. Identify what you will think about, what you will entertain, and what you will reject. Recognize that the mind is a garden. If you allow weeds of fear, doubt, and resentment to grow, they will choke the seeds of greatness. Yet, if you plant seeds of clarity, courage, and determination, and nurture them with disciplined attention, your mind will yield harvests of insight, energy, and action. The next pillar is definiteness of purpose, the unwavering clarity that anchors all effort. Without purpose, discipline becomes tedious, detachment becomes hollow, and action becomes aimless. Purpose is the compass that directs energy, the beacon that guides the mind through storms, the fuel that ignites persistence. Define with absolute precision what you desire, not in vague terms, but in crystal clarity. Write it, speak it, see it, live it daily. Every thought, every choice, every effort must be aligned with this singular aim. This alignment transforms mere effort into unstoppable momentum. Now, turn your attention to the principle of self-suggestion, the deliberate communication with your subconscious mind. The thoughts you repeat, the affirmations you embrace, the visualizations you immerse yourself in all become your reality. The individual who fills his mind with doubts, fears, and limitations becomes trapped in that very reality. The individual who conditions his mind with images of success, calm, courage, and mastery shapes a life aligned with that vision. This is no abstract theory, this is law. The subconscious responds to repeated, disciplined thought with inevitability. Feed it well, and it will serve as your most loyal ally. Let us now explore the power of calmness, for calmness is strength disguised as serenity. When faced with crisis, the untrained mind panics. The trained mind observes, evaluates, and acts. Calmness is not passive. It is decisive, deliberate, and unshakable. It creates space for insight, cultivates confidence in decision-making, and signals authority to the world. The calm individual commands respect and influence without demanding it. He does not scream to be heard. He projects mastery by the mere presence of composure. This is the power that few recognize and even fewer cultivate. Consider the distinction between thinking and feeling, for the two are often conflated to disastrous effect. Feelings are powerful, yes, but they are instruments, not masters. When the intellect and the will guide the heart, emotions serve as energy, as inspiration, as fuel for decisive action. When the heart rules unbridled, the mind becomes enslaved, reasoning is clouded, and judgment fails. True mastery is not the suppression of feeling. It is its direction and utilization in service of purpose. This is the cornerstone of mental sovereignty. Now, embrace the discipline of selective attention, the ability to focus solely on what serves your highest purpose. Every day, countless distractions seek to fracture your concentration. Trivial news, idle chatter, fleeting desires, the endless noise of the world. The disciplined mind shields itself from these intrusions. It concentrates on the vital few, the tasks that compound into success, the relationships and opportunities that accelerate growth. Attention is energy, and energy directed without focus is wasted. Focused, disciplined attention is the engine of accomplishment. Finally, integrate the practice of reflection, the deliberate pause to analyze thought and action. The mind that never reflects drifts, repeats errors, and remains reactive. The mind that reflects, observes patterns, learns lessons, and improves continuously. Each evening, each week, each month, pause to examine, where did I act with clarity? Where did I allow emotion to govern? Where did I exercise initiative? And where did I defer? Reflection is the bridge between experience and mastery. Without it, effort is blind. With it, effort becomes precision-guided power. Let us now consider the principle of emotional economy. For every reaction, every outburst, every indulgence of fear or anger carries a cost, an unseen toll on energy, clarity, and opportunity. The man who squanders emotion in petty quarrels, unearned resentment, or anxiety over things beyond his control is impoverished in spirit and effectiveness. Yet the man who conserves his emotional capital, who invests it only in actions aligned with purpose, achieves a level of influence and power that seems almost preternatural. He is calm in storms, decisive in chaos, and inspiring to those around him. He understands that emotion, like currency, must be spent wisely. Mismanaged, it produces debt. Managed, it produces wealth. Next, recognize the absolute authority of thought over circumstance. Too many men believe they are slaves to external conditions, victims of environment, or prisoners of fate. This is a fallacy, a dangerous illusion. The external world is shaped by the inner world. Thoughts, repeated and disciplined, crystallize into habits. Habits shape character. Character shapes destiny. The individual who commands his thoughts commands his life. The one who allows thought to drift, to dwell on fear, to entertain doubt, surrenders his future to randomness. To master life, one must master the mind first. Every act of deliberate thought, every refusal to succumb to impulse, every choice to focus on solution over problem is a declaration of sovereignty. Now consider the alchemy of detachment and desire. Many believe that detachment implies lack of ambition, lack of desire, or lack of passion. Nothing could be further from the truth. Detachment does not extinguish, desire it, refines it. It removes the toxicity of desperation, the blindness of obsession, the volatility of emotional dependence. A man detached from outcome pursues his goal with clarity and precision, unafraid of setbacks, criticism, or delay. He does not grasp, he attracts. He does not chase, he magnetizes. This is not metaphysical fantasy, it is the law of cause and effect applied to human will. Desire, disciplined and detached, is unstoppable. Let us examine the subtle yet powerful distinction between reactionary fear and calculated caution. Fear is a natural emotion, one that signals potential danger. But reactionary fear is irrational, uncontrolled, and often paralyzing. Calculated caution, by contrast, is deliberate, informed, and rooted in observation. The master of the mind does not deny fear. He assesses it, measures it, and acts regardless. He transforms fear into insight, hesitation into strategy, uncertainty into a plan. Every individual who achieves extraordinary success has done so not because fear was absent, but because fear was mastered. The moment you recognize that fear is a tool rather than a tyrant, you reclaim the power to act decisively and consistently. We now arrive at the discipline of mental neutrality, the ability to observe life without undue judgment, without immediate attachment, and without surrender to emotional extremes. Neutrality is not passivity, it is strategic engagement. It allows the mind to see truth where chaos and opinion cloud judgment. The neutral mind evaluates opportunity without distraction, recognizes threat without panic, and perceives potential without bias. Leaders, innovators, and great achievers are not those who react to every impulse of the crowd, but those who stand calm in the eye of the storm, deliberate with clarity, and act with precision. Mental neutrality is the soil in which decision-making power grows, untainted by the weeds of emotion and impulse. Next, embrace the practice of deliberate solitude, for the mind requires space to grow, to integrate knowledge, and to cultivate inner authority. Solitude is not loneliness. It is communion with one's inner self, a conversation with the subconscious, a rehearsal of purpose. In solitude, the mind disentangles from the noise of society, filters out distractions, and rehearses the future it intends to create. Every decision made, every plan formulated, every insight discovered in the calm of solitude compounds into decisive action in the world. Those who fear solitude remain subject to external chaos. Those who embrace it become architects of their destiny. Let us now consider the role of patience in mental mastery. The impatient mind is reactive, erratic, and easily swayed. The patient mind, by contrast, exercises delayed gratification, evaluates options, and cultivates precision. Patience is not inaction. It is strategic restraint. It allows for opportunity to be recognized, for judgment to be refined, and for execution to be flawless. Every great achievement in history, every empire built, every invention realized, every fortune amassed was the result not of haste, but of patient, disciplined, and deliberate action. To master your inner world is to master patience, for impatience is the enemy of clarity, and clarity is the currency of success. Finally, integrate the principle of continuous mental auditing, the habit of examining thoughts, emotions, and decisions with unwavering honesty. The mind that does not audit itself drifts, repeats errors, and accumulates bias. The mind that does audit itself identifies weakness, corrects patterns, and reinforces strength. Each day, reflect upon, where did I act impulsively? Where did emotion override reason? Where did discipline guide my decisions? This is not mere self-criticism, it is strategic self-command, a tool of refinement, a method of internal engineering that ensures every choice, every reaction, every thought is aligned with purpose. Begin each day with mental rehearsal. Before you confront the world, before you answer emails, before you speak to colleagues, before you face challenges, sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Visualize the outcomes you desire not as wishful thinking, but as deliberate projection. Picture yourself responding to every scenario with calm, confidence, and control. Imagine obstacles rising and see yourself overcoming them effortlessly. In this rehearsal, emotion is present but disciplined. Desire is strong but detached. Focus is absolute. Repetition of this mental exercise trains your subconscious to act with authority, even under pressure. Your mind becomes a pre-programmed instrument of execution, and your reactions are no longer chaotic. They are calculated, precise, and unstoppable. Next, Cultivate the habit of deliberate emotional pause. In every interaction, whether in business, family, or social settings, train yourself to delay immediate reaction. A colleague challenges you? Pause. A client rejects your offer? Pause. A competitor criticizes your strategy? Pause. In the pause lies power. In the pause lies choice. Most people respond reflexively, surrendering their power to circumstances. You, however, will respond deliberately, guided by principle, not impulse. The pause allows observation, rational evaluation, and strategic action. It transforms emotional volatility into tactical advantage. Engage in thought auditing throughout the day. Notice when anxiety, doubt, or anger arises. Name it, acknowledge it, and decide consciously whether it serves your purpose. If it does not, release it without judgment. This is not suppression, it is mastery. Mastery is not the absence of emotion, but the command of it. The mind that can regulate its emotional state at will holds a key to limitless power and influence. Every thought you allow to dominate your consciousness shapes your decisions, your interactions, and your results. Therefore, take control now before others, and circumstances take control of you. Apply principles of mental economy rigorously. Not all thoughts are worth entertaining. Not every criticism is worth considering. Not every fear demands attention. Like a prudent investor, allocate your mental energy only to ideas that will yield the highest return. Guard your mind as a fortress. Evict the intruders of doubt, envy, and distraction. Welcome only those ideas, emotions, and insights that build power, clarity, and purpose. This is the practice of intellectual and emotional triage, a technique used by the most successful leaders and thinkers in history. Embrace strategic solitude as a laboratory for innovation. Use solitude not for avoidance, but for creation. In these quiet intervals, examine your failures, celebrate your successes, and plan your next actions. Solitude is the forge where mental discipline is tempered and refined. It allows clarity to emerge from noise, insight to emerge from confusion, and vision to emerge from distraction. You cannot dominate the outer world without first conquering the inner. The inner laboratory of solitude is where greatness is born. Now, integrate the law of deliberate association. Surround yourself with minds that elevate, inspire, and challenge you in constructive ways. Energy is contagious. Discipline is contagious. Clarity is contagious. Those who are lazy, reactive, or negative will attempt to pull you into their orbit of distraction. Detachment does not mean isolation. It means intentional alignment. Choose companions, mentors, and colleagues who reflect the principles you wish to embody. You do not need approval from anyone. Your authority comes from mastery of your inner world, not from external validation. Practice continuous reflection at the close of each day. Ask yourself, did I act according to principle? Did I allow impulse to dictate any decisions? Did I invest my emotional energy wisely? Where did I overreact? Where did I hesitate unnecessarily? These reflections, repeated nightly, create a compounding effect. Like interest accumulating in a bank account, your mental discipline grows daily, strengthening your capacity to act with calmness, confidence, and authority in all areas of life. Cultivate the mindset of inevitability. Success is not a matter of luck or circumstance. It is a matter of principle, applied consistently, courage exercised relentlessly, and discipline enforced unflinchingly. Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice patience. Every criticism is a chance to refine judgment. Every failure is a lesson that brings you closer to mastery. Adopt the mentality that your purpose is inevitable. Your actions will manifest the outcomes you desire because your inner world is orderly, disciplined, and aligned with your objectives. Finally, embrace the paradox of control through detachment. Understand this deeply. You cannot control external events, but you can control your response to them. You cannot command others, but you can command yourself. The less you grasp, the more you attract. The more detached you become, the more influence you wield. The calmer your inner state, the stronger your outer presence. This is the essence of mental sovereignty, the ability to navigate life with authority, resilience, and relentless effectiveness. With mastery over your emotions comes clarity of purpose. When you are no longer enslaved by fear, doubt, or the desire for approval, you see life with unclouded vision. Every decision becomes deliberate, every action precise, every interaction meaningful. People will attempt to sway you with drama, crisis, or distraction, yet you will stand unmoved. You will respond, not react. You will influence, not yield. This is not arrogance, it is discipline born from understanding that your inner state shapes your outer reality. Recognize that true power is born of detachment. The world rewards those who act from principle, not from panic. The person who clings to outcomes is perpetually enslaved to circumstances. The person who governs their inner world, however, moves with certainty through chaos. Wealth, opportunity, recognition, and respect, these follow the individual who has learned to control their mind, not by force, not by manipulation, but by the quiet, unwavering strength of someone who commands themselves before they attempt to command anything else. Develop the relentless habit of self-education. Study your mind as diligently as you study your craft. Observe your impulses, analyze your failures, and dissect your victories. The mind is both your tool and your instrument. Mastery over it is non-negotiable. Begin each day with study and reflection. Begin each interaction with intention. Begin each challenge with calm. In this practice lies the compound advantage of those who achieve the extraordinary, the people who rise above circumstance and circumstance bends before them. Internalize the principle of deliberate action. Action without discipline is chaos. Discipline without action is impotent. Act with precision, grounded in awareness, measured by principle. Make choices swiftly, execute decisively, and observe outcomes with detachment. Your emotions will no longer dictate the speed, scope, or quality of your decisions. The world moves, but you move with it, unyielding, purposeful, unstoppable. Understand the economy of focus. Every moment spent consumed by worry, resentment, or regret is a moment lost. Every thought allowed to drift without purpose erodes your power. Train your mind to stay on the essential, on the task, on the vision, on the next right action. Discard the superfluous, the distracting, the unnecessary. Like a laser cutting through steel, concentrated focus can achieve what the scattered mind cannot even approach. Practice the art of mental rehearsal at night as well as morning. Visualize yourself navigating challenges with poise. Visualize conversations unfolding with calm and clarity. Visualize obstacles turning into opportunities. Repeat these exercises until your subconscious adopts them as automatic responses. In doing so, you remove hesitation from your life, and hesitation is the silent killer of progress. Appreciate the value of inner silence. In moments of stillness, when you retreat from noise, you cultivate insight. Ideas that are drowned out by panic, gossip, or constant stimulation begin to emerge. Solutions reveal themselves in quiet contemplation. Perspective returns. Power, like water held in a reservoir, gathers force when contained within disciplined silence. Remember that external validation is a distraction. Approval is fleeting, opinion is volatile, and praise is unreliable. Seek instead the internal compass of your own integrity, your own standards, your own relentless pursuit of excellence. When your life is governed by your inner principles, no external judgment can destabilize you. You operate above the tumult, untethered, sovereign. Mastering detachment does not mean abandoning ambition. It means pursuing your highest goals without attachment to immediate outcomes. It means being fully engaged, yet fully calm. It means acting decisively, without fear of failure. It means embracing uncertainty with courage, because your confidence comes not from circumstances, but from the unshakable command of your own mind. Take full responsibility for your inner world. If doubt arises, confront it. If fear whispers, listen, then decide. If desire tempts, examine, then direct. This is the practice of mastery. This is the path of the extraordinary. Ordinary people react, extraordinary people respond. Ordinary people are carried by life. Extraordinary people carry themselves through life with disciplined intention. And finally, understand this. Your destiny is written by your thoughts, not by your surroundings. The person who masters emotional detachment, builds mental discipline, and commands their inner world becomes a force to be reckoned with. Circumstances may bend, obstacles may rise, and challenges may appear insurmountable, but they are powerless against a mind trained, disciplined, and sovereign. Success does not chase them, they attract it effortlessly because their inner state is aligned with the principles of power, calm, and focused action. So, stand now in this knowledge, commit to it, begin today, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, but now. Take control of your thoughts, harness your emotions, discipline your mind, retreat from impulse and attachment, embrace clarity, purpose, and deliberate action. When you do this, the world no longer dictates your life. You become the author of your destiny, the master of your fate, the architect of your results. Your fear of failure diminishes, your courage rises, and your ability to achieve the extraordinary becomes inevitable. Let this be your standard. Let this be your practice. Let this be the life you command. For those who follow this path, there is no limit. There is only the steady, unstoppable, disciplined march towards success, fulfillment, and influence, a life governed not by chaos, nor fear, nor distraction, but by the unshakable sovereignty of a disciplined mind. Rise, take command, and let nothing sway you. The power was always yours. It only required recognition, discipline, and decisive action. Now, wield it.